In the wake of The Running Man that's going to be released this November, I present you Arnold Schwarzenegger's Running Man. Let's begin.
I'm not into politics, I'm into survival.
You don't have a travel pass. You do. No, I do.
The bitches! Here is Sub-Zero! Now, Plane Zero!
But I hope you leave enough room for my fist because I'm going to ram it into your stomach and break your goddamn spine!
That boy's one mean motherfucker.
Fuck you.
The year is 1987 and Reagan challenges Gorbachev to bring down the western part of the Berlin Wall.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Guns N' Roses also drop their Appetite for Destruction album. We get classics like The Untouchables, Full Metal Jacket, Emperor of the Sun, and somewhere in between a little Running Man sneaks in, and it's, for me, at least for me, it's basically the best Arnie's one-liner movie. And that's pretty much about it. It's a great movie, and yeah, see you in the next one. Bye. I'm just kidding. By now you probably know that this movie has nothing to do with the original novel it was based on, and it is The Running Man by Richard Bachman, as you know him, Stephen King. For me, growing up, King was basically the king of the novels, and somehow I missed this one. I don't know how, maybe it wasn't available at the time at the public library, but yeah, I never got it. But with time, I got familiar with the plot that is in the novel, and as I said before, it's really different from this movie. The novel is pretty much bleak, dark, it's dystopian, there's nothing fun about it. Every single line is a struggle and it's really dark. But it's also more self-aware about the social engagement. And this movie is also, but not that much. It's more lighthearted, it's kinda cheery, funny. Well, you have the one-liners with Arnie also.
Plane Zero!
And that doesn't help at all to bring down the tone. And in the novel there's no happy ending, there isn't any. Ben Richards from the novel is just an average guy who struggles to keep his child alive that's being gravely ill, and meanwhile his wife resorts to prostitution, and finally it gets him down and Ben Richards applies to be in the show called Running Man to win $1 billion reward to keep everybody floating. Ben from the movies is just this big guy who is actually a cop, gets to the point of being a former cop because he's screwed by the government, and basically spends his time in a working camp until he gets some buddies and they throw some rebellion, ends up in a Running Man show and kills everyone. That's pretty much about it. It's not that deep of a movie. So to not go really deep into the novel and the comparison between the movie and the novel, there's really no point because this is actually just a review of the movie itself. Basically, only thing that ties them is the main character, main antagonist, some premise about the government controlling the people, and media lying to them, of course. So imagine Stephen King being not really happy with this movie when it was made, and he even told them to take down his name from the credits. And also he was hating it almost as much as he hated the Kubrick's Shining.
Here's Johnny!
I'm really more of a fan of dystopian movies. For example, Soylent Green is one of my all-time favorites.
You gotta tell him! Silent Green is people!
It is really that good, and if you discard the novel, like I told you before, and just watch it as a pure movie, you'll have so much fun, because Arnie's one-liners and cringe acting are just so legendary. He's growling like
The bitches!
It's just hilarious. And you really get a good cast. You get like a budget Tulsa Doom,
And that is what grieves me the most.
which is actually a legendary actor also from The Alien. And I'm gonna butcher his name, Yaphet Kotto, I guess.
The network shuts down the schools.
You also get Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac, the legendary band, and you get Frank Zappa's son, the Dweezil Zappa. Can it be more legendary than that? You also get a bunch of American guys like Jesse Ventura, I think. I'm not really familiar with this culture. I guess they were either bodybuilders or some WWF guys. I have no idea, really. Sorry, I just didn't bother to research it. This movie really knows what it is. It doesn't take itself seriously, it just flows. There's some good action scenes. There's a little bit of drama, but not that much. And everybody is pretty much self-aware that this is not gonna be some big office hit, really. I guess they knew that they were making like a shit movie and just having a blast while doing it. And as I mentioned a couple seconds earlier, it really flopped badly because on a budget of 27 million and some change, it got around 38, which is, yeah, it was really a disaster. So, after all this, and if you're still with me, just tell me please in the comments what do you think about the movie. Do you remember it really well? Did you watch it lately? Will you watch it after this maybe? Like, does it scratch the nostalgia itch? Or maybe you're doing it like me because there's a new one coming out? Please, yeah, leave something in the comments. We can talk about it. Here is our guy Ben Richards flying a chopper and gets in a fight with the crew because he doesn't want to kill innocent civilians. Quickly he gets overpowered and it's time for a nighty night. Sometime later he has a beard and spends his time in a working camp where he meets his buddies Laughlin and Stevie, who also serve time, and together they form a brilliant plan to escape. They start a riot, get a code and be on their merry way, but things are not that easy. With a little bit of luck and a lot of skill they overpower guards, Chico gets beheaded in the meantime, and they run off the slums to get their collars removed and join the resistance. We also see the ad for the Running Man show hosted by Damon Killian, who is our antagonist. Old guy Mick removes the collar from the Laughlin, but he's more hesitant about Ben's because he's a cop and labeled Butcher of the Bakersfield. Still, he does it. Ben decides to not join the resistance and just wants to get away with the help of his brother and goes with some illegals to work in the construction, I guess. ICE is already on their way. He goes to the apartment where his brother used to live but finds out some woman, uses her to escape the state and basically takes her hostage holding her by the neck. Meanwhile, Killian finds out about Ben's escape and wants him in the Running Man show because of his stamina. He sets out to capture him with the help of the government. As Ben is holding the woman hostage and tries to escape, she sees some officer, kicks Ben in the nuts and escapes from his grasp. Ben runs away but not very far. He's captured immediately with a super cool net. Killian pulls some strings to bring Ben and offers him to participate in the Running Man to save his buddies Laughlin and Stevie, who are also being held. I guess being in the resistance really sucks. The woman who was held hostage by Ben is Amanda, a musician for Running Man show, and as they lead Ben to be presented as a contestant, she recognizes him. They present Ben as a butcher of the Bakersfield once more with some tailored footage, and the crowd is not really pleased. They also show footage of previous Running Man contestants who won and now are on holiday, somewhere nice and having cocktails. Bullshit? Yeah. Amanda, suspicious of the government and media lies, goes to her archive and retrieves the original footage from Ben's intervention in Bakersfield, but is apprehended. Killian actually tricks Ben by putting his buddies Laughlin and Stevie in a show, also as contestants. Ben is furious but cannot do much about it, and all of them are sent in vacuum tubes into the field. They meet their first opponent, Sub-Zero, who quickly becomes Plain Zero because our guys are just awesome like that. The crowd is somewhat shocked by the death of Sub-Zero, but the show must go on and Killian introduces two more opponents, Buzzsaw and Dynamo. As we saw earlier, Amber was captured and now is also a participant in the show, and they tell that she is actually Ben's lover, and she joins our guy. While roaming the killing field, Steve figures out that there must be a hidden network relay in the middle, and they split. Ben goes with Laughlin while Stevie takes Amanda to search for a relay. Buzzsaw comes in, Ben and Laughlin fight with him a little bit, Laughlin gets smacked by a saw, but in the end, Ben finishes Buzzsaw by a crotch dismemberment. It really still hurts to see this scene. Stevie and Amanda find the secret relay, and Stevie hacked the shit out of that too, gets the code, and Amanda remembers it. Too bad for Steve because he is electrocuted by the opera singing Dynamo. Dynamo also takes Amanda and I guess wants to rape her, but no worries, Ben is here to rescue her by distracting Dynamo. Ben's run a little bit here and there. Ben runs a little bit while Dynamo chases him in a car because he is a fat pig and he cannot really run, but he crashes and Ben ultimately decides that he is not worth killing and wants to show the audience that he is actually not cold-blooded killer as the government portrays him. Ben takes Amanda and they run off to pick up Laughlin, but it's already too late for him. He's been gravely wounded by the Buzzsaw. They leave him because fuck that guy. Killian offers Ben to become a hunter like a Buzzsaw or Sub-Zero, and he politely declines. Killian is now in semi-panic mode and starts to get calls from the government and also pulls Fireball. Guy has a badass flamethrower. Meanwhile, audience basically turns on Killian and hunters and start cheering for Ben. Ben and Amanda split up, and as Amanda runs, she finds the remains of the contestants and figures out those are actually guys who were presented as the winners and now chilling in Hawaii. She is now certain that everything is a scam. Fireball comes in, confirms that these are the contestants that he killed, and will end Amanda too. No worries, Ben is again here to rescue and he takes Fireball easily. Fireball goes down in flames. Killian, now in full panic mode, decides to pull out Captain Freedom out of the retirement, but is not convinced that he can actually do it, so they decide to deepfake the technology to mimic Ben's and Amanda's death. Ben and Amanda are caught in a trap, but actually good guys come, they tell them about Killian's shenanigans, and come up with a plan to disrupt the broadcast with the truth and footage that Amanda stole before, but first they need to gear up and shoot some bad guys. Amanda is confronted again by the fat rapist Dynamo, but handles him easily, shooting down sprinklers, and he gets electrocuted. Meanwhile, the crowd finds out the truth about Ben, how they are being lied, which is kind of the point of this movie, I guess. Long story short, Ben and the Resistance shoot every single one of the bad guys down, and only Killian is left to fight. Killian also knows he is no match for Ben, and gets the Sven, who is the guard, to fight for him, but he politely declines also. Killian tries to talk his way out of the dire situation, but it's a no-go. He fails miserably with a sweet talk, and Ben sends him down into the field in one of the carts, but now there's no one to hold him on a landing, and he goes down with a bang, tearing up his own commercial. It's symbolic, right? Crowd cheers for Killian's death, some 80s music rolls in, and Bang gets the chick, Amanda. He kisses her, and that's pretty much about it. And okay, to be frank, it's not really a masterpiece. Just no point in fooling anyone. But it has really been fun. I really enjoyed it, and Arnie is just legendary. Really, I guess the 80s were really cocaine coated in that kind of a way. Rest of the cast is really solid. They really fill up the movie, and there's no real character development. There's no point to it. It's not this type of a movie. But Killian really outshines everybody. In my opinion, he is really perfect for this role, and it's like you're watching a villain at the same time as the narrator of the movie. He really is that good. One funny thing about the movie, director of the movie thought that audience is gonna be not smart enough to recognize the deep fakes, and that's why we see actually Ben and Amanda watching their own death. Was this guy a real asshole, or was he just, I don't know. I have no idea what was on his mind, but it would be really good to see what would actually happen. Like, you get some surprise. I think you'd get more points for the movie, but it is what it is. So as the new Running Man is approaching, I think this one is really good for some stress relief and just to go back in the time when action heroes are pretty much everything. So grab a beer, buddies, your wife, your lover, whatever, whoever, and tell them to like and subscribe to this channel, and just enjoy the movie. See you in the next one. The end.